As a complete security vendor, we're unique in our ability to blend the traditional client-side applications as well as the network security devices together. This allows them to actually work together on an engineering level and not simply being tacked on as an add-on product. Our very advanced experience in endpoint technologies has been thoroughly integrated into our network security devices to give you a very interesting ability to block your users and allow your users via web enforcement when they're in the office, when they're out of the office, as well as protect them from viruses, malware, and a range of other threats. Now, the integration into the product is quite interesting. All you have to do is go to Endpoint Protection, and here is a self-contained system where you can deploy and manage agents that are installed on a user's computer. For example, if I go to Computer Management, I can then go to the Deploy Agent field. The agent is already packaged up and ready to go. I can download it myself and spread it out to my individual PCs in the company, or give them a link that they can use to install it themselves. Once they're installed, they'll show up here on my Endpoint Protection status. Coming back to the Computer Management tab allows me to look at my different individual groups, have a look at which computers have registered with the system, and also manage them into different categories like finance and sales with different access lists. If I come to the Antivirus tab, I can actually control all of the different functionality around protecting them from threats, checking for potentially unwanted applications, enabling them to send files back to our labs for further analysis, and actually enforcing their web protection policies even if they're not in the office. This is one of the key benefits that we've invested a lot in making very simple and solving a lot of problems for admins. For example, it's always hard to protect users when they're not in the office, and some solutions do it by bringing you back through the head office even when you're out in the field, making your surfing slow or even unavailable if the internet connection is not up to the task. What we can do is enable our web and endpoint. And if you look at here, if I edit, you can see that we have web protection, turn that to enabled, click save, and we can choose to block malicious sites and also enforce the download scanning. And if I do nothing else, all I have to do is go to the web control, turn the system on, and right now, all of the information that has been configured separately in our web protection system will apply to these users no matter where they are in the world. They don't have to come into the office ever. They don't have to connect back to the office to receive updates and new security policies, as we have a global service called Live Connect, which interfaces with my endpoints wherever they are in the world. Further extending our capabilities is some of the innovation that we've evolved around tying in your endpoints and UTMs if you're using the classic Sophos Enterprise Console. By going into the advanced options of computer management, you get a special code that you can take and transport into your Sophos Enterprise Console, which will allow those clients to also be enforced by the UTM endpoint security, which will allow those clients to also be enforced by the web security in the product. We're even smart enough here under web control to intelligently detect when a user on the network has our endpoint agent installed and is under our web enforcement on the client, in which case the product will detect that because they've already been scanned on the client, it doesn't need to waste cycles like CPU and RAM scanning them again with the same engines. If you would like that for security, audits, or compliance purposes, you can enable that here under the endpoint traffic setting. But otherwise, we'll intelligently scan people on the client side and on the gateway, and not both if they're in the office and behind the gateway at the same time.